What's up, guys? Thank you for joining me. Today, I want to talk about what happened in Portland. In case you missed it, Border Patrol conducted a car stop, and when the agents approached the vehicle, the driver threw in reverse and tried to run them over, forcing the agents to shoot. Chief Bob Day, who's head of the Portland Police Department, held a press conference in regards to this incident and embarrassed everyone who wears a uniform. We're going to talk about it next. So here's Chief Bob Day, head of the Portland Police Department. Wait until you see what an embarrassment this guy is. Here he is crying over the arrest of the two perps who tried to kill federal agents. By the way, these two perps happen to be members of TDA. Keep that in mind when you watch this guy cry. If you're on the job, prepare to be embarrassed. Here he is.
I was asked yesterday in the press conference about the Tren de Aragua group, also known as TDA. At that time, I did not have pertinent information as to their potential role or involvement here in the city. Doing some more digging, sought some more information. Once the names of the people who were shot yesterday by the federal officers came out, we were able to do some investigating on our part to see if there was any nexus or relationship with the Portland Police Bureau or regional partners. I can confirm, first and foremost, that these two individuals are in stable condition. They are still hospitalized. They are in custody of the federal law enforcement, but grateful that they appear to be on the road to recovery, and I'm grateful for that.
You hear that? The chief is happy that the two gang members are okay, not the federal agents they tried to kill. He's happy that the perps are okay. And who are these perps? Here's the driver. I'm not even going to attempt to mention his name. You could try and read it if you want. Not only is he a member of Tren de Aragua, but he's also a drug dealer and he runs a prostitution ring. And here's the passenger. Again, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that name. She is also a TDA member, runs the prostitution ring with him, and she's also wanted for a shooting that occurred in July. And by the way, these two perps are married and both of them are here illegally. And they didn't just ram into the Border Patrol car once, they slammed into it repeatedly. Here's the car. Had these agents not jumped out of the way, they could have been killed. But the chief is grateful that the perps are okay. Now let's go back to the press conference, listen to the chief confirm that they are members of TDA, which is very hard for him to admit.
They do have some nexus to involvement with TDA. We can confirm that.
TDA, of course, is Tren de Aragua. They are a violent gang that originated in Venezuelan prisons, but today they're all over the United States. They came in through the southern border because Joe Biden and the Democrats told us that borders were racist. So they walked right in and set up shop in Texas. But today they're all over the country, including as far as Portland. We have the Democrats to thank for that. TDA is so dangerous that Texas Governor Greg Abbott has designated them a foreign terrorist organization. Now, the chief wants to make it absolutely clear that he's not justifying the agents who were forced to shoot these animals in self-defense.
I hesitated to even share this information initially because I'm very aware of the historic injustice of victim blaming, oftentimes portrayed by law enforcement, including this very agency that I've represented so proudly for so many years. And historically, we have not been quick to disclose the potential criminal history of others. But I felt it was imperative because I was asked yesterday in the news conference what information we have. This is information we have. This in no way draws a through line to the actions or the behaviors that occurred yesterday.
This in no way draws a through line to the actions or behaviors that occurred yesterday. He's talking about Border Patrol. Do you realize how insane this is? These guys are here illegally. They tried to kill federal agents and they're members of the most violent gang. And the chief wants you to know that he's not justifying the actions of those agents who fired their weapons in self-defense. At the very least, he should be condemning these people because, as he's already confirmed, they're members of TDA. Do you know how dangerous TDA is? Law enforcement refers to them as MS-13 on steroids. You know MS-13, the gang that hacks their victims to pieces? TDA is worse. Knowing this, listen to the chief cry about removing these two gang members.
I want to speak for just a moment specifically to my Latino community. It saddens me that we even have to qualify these remarks, because I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger.
You hear that? This chief is apologizing to the Latino community for removing these dangerous gang members. Do you realize how racist that is? He's basically saying that if you're Hispanic, you want to live among drug dealers and murderers. Do you think they needed to apologize to the Italian community when Giuliani infiltrated and took down the mafia? Of course not. There was no press conference apologizing to Italians for removing mobsters. But when it comes to Hispanics, the white liberals feel the need to apologize. You're a disgrace, Chief. You're ballless. You have no balls. Your testicles are up in your stomach. You know, I had a German Shepherd who had the same thing. Only one testicle dropped. But at least he had one. You have none. And you're a disgrace to everyone who wears the uniform. Here he is finishing the press conference, again reminding us that in no way is he justifying these agents protecting themselves.
This information in no way is meant to disparage or to condone or support or agree with any of the actions that occurred yesterday.
You're a clown and an embarrassment. But if you think he's bad, I've got another one for you. This is Philadelphia Sheriff Rochelle Bilal. Before I show you the next clip, remember, the Democrats are always looking for the next George Floyd, and I'm going to prove it to you right here. This is right after the Renee Good shooting. Listen to the first thing she says.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say her name, Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. This should not have happened, but we're here today. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made-up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, we heard exactly what you said, and we're going to go over it. Let know. That's how she begins her press conference. Let know. Here's her quote. I'm quoting now exactly. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made-up ICE, probably Trump new army to attack citizens of the United States. I got to read it again, right? Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made-up ICE, probably Trump new army to attack citizens of the United States. That's how she begins her press conference. This is not just a joke. It's a disgrace. I don't know if she went to grammar school.
No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None. None.
Now, originally, I didn't like that ICE officers were wearing masks, not because it conceals their identity. We have thousands of undercovers that work in the NYPD, and I worked plain clothes almost my entire career. So it's not because of that. The reason why I don't like them wearing masks is because, number one, it doesn't look good when you see masked agents taking people off the street. And it's going to hurt Trump politically, which it is. And I'm going to show you the polls in a minute. The reason why I don't like that they're identifiable to the public is because it prevents accountability. When you're a cop in uniform, you're identified by two things: your shield number and your name tag. Do you remember the Tompkins Square Park riots in New York City back in 1988? I wasn't a cop back then, but from what I remember, the police were told to go into the park and clear it of all drug dealers, addicts, and homeless encampments. And the cops went in and basically beat everybody up. And when they did their investigation, they learned that while the cops were in uniform, a lot of them didn't have their name tags attached, and some of them had their shield numbers covered up with black electrical tape, making it very difficult to assign accountability. So initially I thought that ICE officers should have their names displayed. But then I found out that their names and addresses are being shared over the internet. Now they have animals attacking these ICE officers while they're off duty in their home.
ICE agents and officers go out there every day, put their lives on the line to protect this nation and do what's expected of them. And for them to be demonized, called modern-day Nazis, right, to have them doxxed, have their families doxxed, have their loved ones, Instagram, Facebook, posted online. You know, me personally, under the last administration, I had protesters show up in my house, masked protesters, at 3 o'clock in the morning. We just ran an operation in Los Angeles with the help of the Secret Service to make an arrest of someone that took photos of ICE agents, found their information online, their home addresses, and posted them on telephone poles all over the city. That is, an ICE agent's or ICE officer's family's home address should not be public record for someone to show up in the middle of the night.
I agree. They should not be posting their addresses on the internet. But it's more than that. The cartels have now placed bounties on their heads.
All this comes as DHS is warning of unprecedented violence against ICE officers. Look at this, as death threats against them have skyrocketed to over 8,000% compared to last year. Just look here at this video on your screen. Officers are being assaulted by people throwing rocks at their heads and blocking police vehicles with their bodies and bicycles. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Meet Eduardo Aguilar, a Mexican national living in Dallas, Texas illegally. DHS says he put a $10,000 hit out for the murder of ICE agents in a TikTok post. Some of these bounties have reached up to $50,000 for the killing or kidnapping of high-ranking officials.
Honestly, these guys don't make enough. As cops, we always worried about being shot, but we never had bounties placed on us. The cartels are paying $50,000 to anyone who kills an ICE officer. Can you imagine working under those conditions? So while I don't like them wearing masks, I understand why they're doing it. But keep in mind, all you're going to hear from the Democrats is that the Trump administration is kidnapping people, and because we have a dishonest media, they're going to allow them to continue to push that narrative. And of course, it's already affecting Trump's poll numbers. Here's CNN.
I should just start off by saying that Americans at this point do not like ICE, and that is very different from what we saw during Trump's first term. Just take a look here. ICE's net approval rating. In Trump's first term, ICE, kind of lukewarm. You had them right there at a net approval rating of 0 points. Look at where we are today. We're talking about a negative 17-point approval rating. That is a 17-point drop from where we were during Trump's first term. Among independents, the number is even lower in terms of the net approval rating. Remember, he's run on immigration in all three of his presidential bids. It's a big reason why he got elected the first time around, won that Republican nomination. It was a strength for him earlier on during his second term. Look at this. His net approval rating, according to our CNN polling, was at plus 3 points on the positive side of the ledger. But look at where it is now. It is way underwater at 16 points on the negative side of the equation. That is a 19-point drop in less than a year's time. Now, what is one of the big reasons why Donald Trump's net approval rating on immigration has gone down, Caitlin? Well, it simply comes down to this. Trump's gone too far in deporting undocumented immigrants. Look at this. Back in February of 2025, it was 45%. Now it's a majority of Americans, 52%, and that includes, Caitlin Collins, 56% of independents. The bottom line is this. ICE and Trump are losing the argument when it comes to the American people. They don't like this immigration enforcement, and it is costing Trump political points at this time, Caitlin.
It is costing him political points. If we had an honest media, the polls would be different. But because they're so corrupt, they're allowing the Democrats to push the false narrative that the Trump administration is kidnapping people off the street. So this is why I don't like that they wear masks. I understand why they do it. I just wish that they didn't for this very reason. At the very least, they should be identifiable by maybe a shield number. That would help people to assign accountability if something happens. Now let's go back to the DEI sheriff.
Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner, who said he's going to lock them up And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you're getting arrested there. No whisk away for them to hide you. None of that here. None of that here. Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles. I'm not saying fleeing, because she wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way.
She wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way. You know, I hear the same stuff from my kids. I didn't lose it, Dad. I just don't know where it is. Of course, they're in elementary school, which I don't think the sheriff went to.
And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made-up, fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that.
I don't call them none of that. Let me help you out. You can say, I don't call them that, or you can say, I call them none of that. But when you say, I don't call them none of that, that's what we call a double negative. So you really are calling them law enforcement professionals. Again, you would know this if you went to the 5th grade. But wait, she's got more.
I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement, because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law.
You hear that? What they do is against moral law. I mean, you have to laugh at her stupidity, but this is what you get when you have a DEI hire. And don't tell me she isn't. She could barely complete a sentence. And don't blame me for coming to that conclusion, because this is the world in which you created. Democrats and liberals have told us that race means everything. In fact, if you go to the sheriff's homepage, you'll see the very first thing she mentions is that she's the first African-American woman sheriff. Are you surprised? This dunce oversees 428 cops. She's a complete fool. And she's not done.
So I'm with the DA, and we will work with them. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will whisk you off. You don't want this smoke, because we will bring it to you.
You don't want the smoke? Are you kidding me? You sound like an idiot. It also sounds like you're threatening federal agents.
And the fake, whatever they call them, because I can't say the name, but the criminal in the White House would not be able to keep you from going to jail. Renee Good should be here today. And to her family, we are saying law enforcement professionals are not the ones here in this city that would do that. But here's the last thing that I will say. Law enforcement professionals around the country do their job. And we have been fighting for years to build that bridge between us and our communities. You have one negative nutcase that causes this problem, and now we all have to fight again to let people know law enforcement works with communities. These crimes would not be down if we didn't have communities work with us. Thank you.
Notice how she singled out that one particular ICE officer, Jonathan Ross, saying that he is a single nutcase. Just one cop, right? It's funny how you didn't do the same thing for Derek Chauvin. When George Floyd died, we were told that it wasn't just Derek Chauvin who did that. We were told that the entire Minneapolis Police Department was racist. We were told that they needed to be defunded, and some people were saying that they needed to be abolished. In fact, we were told that police departments throughout the entire country needed to be defunded. And some people also wanted all police departments to be abolished. But in this one particular case, you're saying it's only ICE. It's this one cop in ICE. It is ICE officers only. Why? Because ICE is sent by Trump. If you pulled the same stuff that you pulled in 2020 and said all police departments are racist, that doesn't affect Trump. But ICE is Trump's baby, and Trump is handcuffed to it. So now we only want to focus on ICE to hurt Trump. It's a shame that she didn't save this speech for the drug dealers and the rapists and the murderers. If she had gotten to the podium and said, if you want to rape our women, If you want to assault the people of Philadelphia, if you want to commit murder, if you want to deal drugs to the people of Philadelphia, we're going to bring the smoke. We're going to find you, we're going to prosecute you, and we're going to put you in jail. She didn't save that speech for that. She saved it for ICE. But what do you expect from a DEI hire? And this is the world in which we live in today. Whenever you see a black female, you automatically think DEI. Or any female, especially a gay female, like the one Mandami hired to lead the fire department, who has never been a firefighter.
56-year-old Lillian Bonsignor, born and raised in the Bronx. She will be the city's first openly gay fire commissioner and the second woman to lead the department following Laura Kavanaugh. While Bonsignor does not have firefighting experience, she promises to provide a shot in the arm, quite literally, for this department.
As far as firefighting experience, I would offer, I know the job.
When we see people like that put in charge, we automatically assume that they're only there because they check all the boxes. And again, don't blame us for that. That's on you. Now, if you want to hear a real police chief, I'm going to take you to, of all places, believe it or not, Chicago. This is Police Superintendent Snelling.
Let me make this clear. Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger.
Pretty simple, right? Don't box in law enforcement vehicles. This is what he's talking about.
This is a video for the listening audience of a leftist woman in her SUV trying to box in an ICE agent who's trying to pull out of his parking spot to go chase bad guys. And she and her band of leftists make it as difficult as they humanly possibly can for this guy to go do his job. And she narrates it. Watch this, SOT 11. See her blocking him in.
We can play. My car's bigger than yours.
We can play.
ICE! It's
Blocking
ICE!
him.
Please help me record. Get behind them if you have a car. If you have a car, please pull behind them. It's ICE. Can you pull behind them? It's ICE. They're trying to kidnap people. Please pull behind them. Please pull behind them and park. Please.
And somebody
Please
does
park
it.
behind them. Can you put your car behind them, please? It's ICE. Put your car there. They're going to move. Hurry, please. Hurry. Park your car sideways, please.
The ICE agent's trying to get out. He's backing up, doing little three-point turns, trying to curve out of this. He gets out, but gets blocked again. She speeds up behind him to block the rear of his truck.
Dumb bitches. You're not going anywhere. We have them blocked in, but we need more cars. Look at these losers. 2, 3. 2 of them in the car.
Can you imagine? I would lose my mind if that happened to me. You know, my friend described the Renee Good shooting as a frustration shooting. ICE is constantly followed, they're harassed, and now they're being boxed in. And why does it always seem to be white liberal women doing this? Adam Carolla sums this up perfectly.
Women don't grow up engaging in rough and tumble play. So all male mammals grow up wrestling and testing the limits. And I'll elaborate. I grew up playing tackle football. You were constantly testing yourself, testing the other person, knowing what was legal, what was illegal, what would get a penalty, what could hurt somebody, who to stay away from on the field. You didn't want to go heads up with everybody. Sometimes you'd get crushed. So with all the wrestling and all the rough and tumble play, guys learn limits. Women, I go on the internet now. I just see women at bars slapping 6'5" guys across the face, and guys just cold cock them. Guys just knock them out. And I'm like,
it's not going to end well.
Don't hit this guy. No, I wouldn't hit that guy. The guy played tight end for the Bears. I know he's a big dude. I'm not going to go mess with him, but I learned that growing up. And so women, they go up there and they spit in the face of an ICE officer, and then the ICE officer tackles her, and then she yells, "What's going on?"
I agree 100%. These women have never been tested. They've never been told no. For you to block in a law enforcement vehicle like that, you think you could do anything you want. Nobody has ever told you no. So I agree with Adam. But listen to Megyn Kelly's response. She has an interesting take on this.
I have another theory. I accept everything you just said, and I want to add something to it. I mentioned this the other day, sort of tongue in cheek, but I actually do think it's a real dynamic. I don't think any of these people are having sex.
Yes.
I really don't. No. I think it's not coincidental that all these women are obese and unattractive with multiple piercings, no makeup, skin issues. That, like, I'm sorry, but if you're having positive interactions with men, where like you're going to bed with them and they're treating you well and you're enjoying it and you feel the euphoria that comes after that, you're not going out there and looking at all these men as the devil enemies who you want to hurt and kill and stop. And same for the guys. These young men, we know that there's huge swaths of them who are not dating. They're not having sex with women. They're not drinking anymore. There's no release. It's not like when we were young in the late 80s, where it was like a life of debauchery, but we were all happy. There's something wrong with these people today. These are mostly like millennials, late-end millennials, who I think all of them have deeply unhappy personal lives, and it's manifesting on the streets of Minneapolis.
Oh, 100% agreed.
I think Megyn has a point. When you look at all these people with the nose rings and the blue and orange hair, they're outcasts. They have no joy in their life, and they need to latch onto something, and they're always pissed. Rush used to say, "Thank God I'm not a liberal. I would have to wake up every day and be angry and pissed about something," because they are. They need something to latch onto. First, it was Black Lives Matter. Then it was Trans Lives Matter. Then it was Illegals Lives Matter. And then Free Palestine. What happened to that? That just stopped. Now they found something else. Now it's attacking ICE. They are addicted to melodrama. They cannot help themselves. Let's go back to Snelling.
Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force. And they can use deadly force in response to stop you. We need to be clear about these laws. We cannot become a society where we just decide to take everything in our own hands and start to commit crimes against law enforcement. It is a crime.
That speech was perfect. Everything he said was accurate. He made it crystal clear. Leave ICE alone. I wish we had more leaders like that. I'm surprised Brandon Johnson didn't fire him for that. Anyway, that's all I got for you on this video. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It'll motivate me to make more videos. Thank you again, and I hope to see you on the next video.
Here's a TikTok video that's gone viral where a woman with a lot of facial piercings, and that's an understatement, explains what she will do if ICE ever comes knocking on her door. Listen.
If it comes down to me taking out myself and my kids versus us being taken and harmed by ICE, like, God help me, I did not want to do it. This is not the life I wanted. But that is a very dark thought that I've had. Death would be a easier out than for my children to be taken and harmed by these pedophiles.
You're sick. You know that? You're really sick.